I'm Amanda Whittal, Research Coordinator for the Foundation for Alternative and Integrative Medicine. FAIM's goal is to share information about health options with the public through the expertise of over 100 guest writer medical practitioners, as well as international projects to learn and share options for health that are available worldwide. All information can be found on our website at www.faim.org. And as part of this work, we regularly interview practitioners from clinics and health centers that we feel the world should know about. We hope you enjoy today's interview. I'm here with Carl Wagner, CEO, and Zakariya Frank, COO of beatcancer.org. Beat Cancer is a registered nonprofit devoted to educating, supporting, and empowering individuals with non-toxic, science-based alternatives to traditional cancer care. They work tirelessly to educate, inspire, and advocate for proactive, holistic health strategies, and they've helped many, many people already along the way. So Carl, Zakariya, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with FAIM today.
Thank you.
Just to start us off, can you each maybe start by telling our audience a little bit about yourselves, how you got involved with Beat Cancer in the first place, and why you're so passionate about its mission?
I had a history of cancer in the family, but that's not necessarily why or how I got started with Beat Cancer. I was invited to the board by a former business partner, and 4 years later, they decided they needed somebody to run it. Susan, our founder, was excellent at authoring books, speaking engagements, counseling people, not so great at the QuickBooks or marketing or other office things that needed to be done. So I came in there and relieved her of all those duties that she wasn't really great at and didn't like to do and wasn't her passion in the first place, so that she could go on to do the things that she was passionate about and the reason she started the foundation in the first place. So that was my duty, and here I am 13 years later, continuing on the legacy.
Fabulous.
And so for myself, I've had a very long and varied career and work path. I was originally going to be a clinical psychologist. Then I found myself in finance. I quit anything corporate and went and did various entrepreneurial endeavors, of which I still do. But essentially, I'd shut down my primary business a little while ago when I happened to meet Carl, and he introduced himself. He was a fantastic guy, still is. And, we really hit it off. I loved the passion. I loved the vision. I loved hearing everything about what Beat Cancer stood for, because holistic health and wellness had been a really core tenet of my life for a long while at that time. And I just, the fulfillment, the amazing. I think if you learn all of these things that we know and improve your own life with them, it would take a kind of crazy person, like a psychopath, to not want to help others with them, right? So that's, I don't know. I think that. And I believed in the vision, and I saw what could be. I saw what it was and what Carl was keeping it alive and doing with the organization, but I saw what it could be in him. I don't know. I wanted to bridge that gap. So we joined forces. There was no knowledge of exactly what that would look like. I wasn't getting paid. I just kept doing stuff and helping out, and now it's wow. The snowball is growing and rolling, and yeah, we're helping more people than ever. So that's why I'm here.
That's fabulous. Thank you both. I think it's just both stories are a really good example of just following the path that life leads you to. And that usually ends up with really great things. Well, I think that part is very inspiring, and Beat Cancer itself is obviously an amazing endeavor, and it does offer so much for patients and for anyone who's been touched by cancer, has been working with cancer. My understanding is that we can probably group the activities into kind of two broad categories that you do, which is on the one hand, patient support, and on the other hand, kind of patient/practitioner education. Would you agree that that's kind of broadly captures, or would you say something more about that?
Yeah, I'd
I
say
would
that
say,
broadly captures. And
yeah,
then
it's
another group.
one word. Sorry about that, Zach. I said you got it down to one word.
Oh yeah. So the one word I think Carl's mentioning is just education, and it's education for all individuals. But those are a great, you know, division of cohorts that you mentioned, Amanda. I think another one is, for those that really have nothing to do with cancer and want to keep it that way. And that's our most underserved community because unfortunately we live in a very reactive world where a lot of people don't think about these kind of things until it's, I don't want to say too late because it's not too late, but until cancer comes about. So ideally, more individuals would come around our community and learn with us and from us before anything ever happens. So that's another cohort.
Actually, it's a very important one, and I'm glad you said it. We've had a few interviewees that we've spoken to mention the fact that often people come for help or for education to them quite late in the process. And while you can absolutely do a lot, the body has amazing healing capabilities. I think we could all, as a society, do a little bit more to be more preventative and keep ourselves healthy in the first place.
That's
Yeah.
half of it. That's half of our slogan: cancer prevention
Yeah.
and healing.
And usually people come to us after they've recurred. So second occurrence or third, and then they're learning, oh, well, I need to change my life in some way. But if we could get people even just off of traditional treatment right after they get released from care, that would be a great time to come to us and to learn how to change their lifestyles so that their bodies would be more resistant to recurrence of cancer.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
huge. That's huge because the statistics of recurrence are astronomical and it doesn't have to be that way. But let's think logically, right? If you get what we call cancer cut out of you, or radiated out of you, or poisoned out of you, but you don't address why was that there in the first place? Well, what do they say is a definition of insanity? Doing the same things over and over again and expecting different results. So what we're all about is getting to that root cause, not the what, but the why. And if you don't address that why did this happen in this body in the first place, and change that, well, then there's a reason the instances of recurrence are so high. Um, so yeah.
Really important. It's very interesting. I was just at a naturopathic conference in July, and the whole theme was about treating the terrain. So anybody has anything to do with natural medicine, be it in cancer, chronic disease, what have you, it is very much all about the why. Why is your body allowing this to be a part of it somehow? So for all of our listeners, I think just getting that message across and really it's a paradigm shift in our society right now to really understand that prevention.
And to even look for a why, right? We live in a society where people have been led to believe very often that there is no why, or that there's a why outside our onus of control, our ability to control or at least influence. We live in a model where individuals have been led to believe that everything is genetic and that cancer and other ailments are just some genetic destiny that, oh, your family got it, so you're going to get it, or you're probably going to get it, and there's nothing you can do about it. Now, our genes are real. Our DNA is passed down from our, parents. But the side that's not talked about, that's more important to talk about because the side of empowerment is epigenetics. Now, epigenetics is the study of how our everyday life and lifestyle and choices can alter our genes, turn some on, turn some off, repair. We can repair at a cellular level, just like we can degrade away. And that is the important part to talk about because I don't care if you have, maybe unhealthy genes passed down, you can influence what you can do about it and pass down better genes to your offspring or just live a better life yourself. There's also the kind of mental model that cancer is random. A lot of people think like it's just like some thing that floats around in the sky and bites you, and now you have cancer. And I giggle because it's kind of silly, but that's kind of how a lot of people think, and that's very disempowering and couldn't be farther from the truth. And so we're all about empowering people to understand that what you do matters, and you can take your health into your own hands and have an informed brain and set yourself up for success, or find your way back to success. That's what's important to talk about.
Yep, yep. And epigenetics speaks to our larger mission. Everybody has that, where people have that family story. My auntie's got it, my mom got it, my grandma got it. I'm just going to get it. And through our education and understanding the science of epigenetics, we can break that chain, that family lineage right there. So we're not only just helping that one person, we're helping all the generations after. We're changing that family story from that point on. And hopefully in a generation or two, they'll forget that it ran in the family, because what ran in the family really was their social dynamics, how they deal with problems, how they eat, what they eat, do they exercise, do they not exercise, all those things run in the family, and you learn it all at the kitchen table, all of it. So if we could just change that, and the family could adhere to that and pass it down, that's the larger goal, is helping generations, one person at a time.
Fabulous. I mean, it's really at the forefront of what we need in healthcare in general, and indeed that crucial link in the chain. And because we're all shaped by our family behaviors, our patterns, without thinking about it. Um, and it's so interesting, Carl, because you said if we can just change that, and I totally agree with you. I guess the just change it part is the tricky part. And so I would love to chat with you both just a little bit about how you do what you do. And I totally appreciate that there's no formula, in the sense that everyone's experience is different. But I know that you offer several different things. So, for instance, you've got a lot of resources on the website that people can easily access. And how much of what you do to get to this break the chain and this empowerment stage is having resources available for people and they can kind of explore themselves, versus how much support and direct interaction do you provide?
I like to say we are a buffet. We have lots of different avenues of exploration. We have the sushi section, the pasta section, the salad section, right? Not everything's for everybody, but it's all delicious. So take what you want, take as much as your belly has room for, and then leave the rest, or come back later for rest. That's us, right? If you just said, "Oh, I want to learn everything Beat Cancer does and take part in every single program right away," blah, 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 you're likely gonna overwhelm yourself, and you would have to spend like every waking hour of the day, and you still take quite a bit of time, because we have so many different ways to interact with us. We have, at the I'll go from kind of like least engaged to most, as I think of that. So we have, at the simple level, ebooks. We have, podcasts that you could just listen to on your own. We have, God, hundreds, if not thousands, of blog articles. We have, you can poke around our website and just look at all the different informative web pages. We have our weekly calls that people could just come on. They're free every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have an open community call where people can listen in or ask questions and participate in the discussion with ourselves and a handful of our holistic cancer coaches, whoever can make it that day. Then we have, our naturopathic doctor, who we offer counseling with, for patients in need, strictly on a donation basis. And then we have our holistic cancer coach certification program, where anyone, whether they are a patient themselves or a caregiver of a patient, an existing medical professional or other holistic healer, or anyone that would just like to learn about the kind of things that we talk about in a more formal way and receive certification, anyone can take that program and join the according community. And that's probably our most immersive and involving program. Am I missing anything, Carl? Over to you.
Yeah, yeah. I think that on a more granular and personal level, as how we operate with an individual patient, is if it was a one size fit all type of solution, we would just write books and that would be the end of it. But it's not that. It's highly individualized, so people can look exactly the same on paper, same gender, same race, same age, same diagnosis, same prognosis, but they're wildly different people in reality, and the approach for each of them would be highly individualized. So that's the big part that people don't get. You know, when you come to a coach, you're getting met where you are, and we're working on issues that are the most prominent, and sometimes even some of the most simple things to fix. We can fix the simple things quick, and we can work longer on the things that take more involvement. But I think that the big thing is that when you work with a coach, it's not just a cookie cutter approach to cancer. And typically that's what people get. You know, when they go into the medical system, it's to put harshly, cut, poison, burn.
Yeah.
You know, they get one of those things, and
Yeah.
it's and even if they go through the conventional route, we can mitigate side effects and help optimize results by repairing their body and giving them the best possible chance for optimal outcomes.
You remember those toys when we were children where, you take the circle peg and you put it in the circle hole and the star peg and put it in the star hole? It's almost like some of the medical avenues out there and the professionals that have designed those systems never quite figured out that game, because they'll take people who are all different shapes and sizes of blocks and just shove them into that circle hole because that's what they got and that's what they know.
And for
And
some of them, it works.
yes,
I'm in the right shape.
and for some it doesn't, and some it does great harm. So,
Yep.
we find where you fit and get you there. That's what we do.
I think the personalized approach is exactly what people need and probably the hardest thing to find a lot of times.
It's
Do
hard.
Yeah, it's the most
It,
energy
it,
intensive, I guess, if you wanted to put it that way. That it's, the cookie cutter approach is you have one method and you apply it. But in this case, you're really meeting the people where they are, as you said, Carl, and that takes more time, more energy, but also is more effective, I imagine.
it's truly a service industry.
Yeah.
You know, it's service in all aspects of the word.
And that's what people need when they're in this situation, even when they're before this situation. A question, because you've mentioned your programs, but I know you've also on the website you offer the consultations. Is that a one-to-one? So how should people think about if they wanted to interact with you? I understand that it's a buffet and they can choose whatever they want, but if they were to have an image of what they should expect, roughly, is it more kind of one-to-one consultations? Is it more about kind of group education or these group support programs, or is it really you have a consultation with them and then decide what would be best? Can you
So
share?
it kind of depends on what angle they're approaching from to begin with. If someone is somewhat interested in the Holistic Cancer Coach certification program, they would most likely first speak to myself, or one of our core team of coaches that has agreed to like kind of also help people understand the program. If they are more so seeking counseling from our naturopath, there's just a basic intake questionnaire, and then we forward that information to our doctor, and that initial consultation is with her. Or if they just don't even know what to do, so any of the others, any other box, come out to the weekly call if you can, and that's like the most like you're in front of us, we can chat and figure out what's best for you.
And they get a really good picture of who we are and what we do, but as the coaches answer questions and we just have this open dialogue, which is it's a lot of fun actually.
Okay. Yeah, I can imagine with the whole group conversation, it can be a really good energy.
Yeah,
We think so.
absolutely.
A lot of people seem to think so. Come find out yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, so if somebody
You
really
know
wanted
what
to
to
just
come.
if somebody just wanted to get a first taste of who you are, that would be probably a good point to start, besides looking at all the many, many resources that you have.
Yeah, and we understand that, we service individuals all over the world, so sometimes there's some time zone, matters to consider. But if you can't make it live, they're all recorded. So
Right.
not only can you watch all the replays retroactively on our YouTube and our Facebook and different social media accounts, but if you want to participate still, you could send us some questions ahead of time or your commentary ahead of time. And then I'll pitch it to the panel while we're on the call and just catch next week's recording. So, even if you can't make it, we'll service your inquiry, which is, really cool. And we welcome that. We want, they are participation driven calls. They are, audience driven calls. Carl and I can get on there and some of our coaches can get on there and ramble about all sorts of different topics for, until we're blue in the face. And we're happy to do that. But we're there to serve our community. So we want to know what the people want to know so we can give the people what they want.
Well said. So that was actually my next question about the call is it sounds like more of a question and answer, either before or live. People, I guess, can also just ask questions while you're on the call, or do you stick with kind of the panel based on the questions that you got ahead of
It's
time?
not necessary. It's very free. It's not necessarily question and answer. Sometimes it's just comment. Like sometimes someone just brings up a topic and it's like so open-ended, like, oh, like thoughts on this.
Yeah.
And then we explore that. And we love tangents. We love if there's like, this bit of information leads to that. Sometimes the conversation gets over here and then it swings back here. But it's also, sometimes people are more specific about things. We don't diagnose nor prescribe anything on the calls, but we can talk about individual circumstances at a baseline level, and then for a more deep dive, people would follow up and do a formal intake process with one of our coaches or our naturopath.
Okay. And so that was actually a question I had is if you have if you were to recommend people a place to start besides joining that first call, it's then that they can see if maybe they want to have a coaching session or some guidance, for instance, on the materials on the website.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Fill out the questionnaire, and that would be a great place to start.
Okay. Okay. Amazing. Um,
So we make just by the way, we make all those core things very easy to find. They're all right in our top menu. We don't have sub menus. We just have five
good, good.
things or whatever. We make easy for you to access. Everything else is put in a sub menu at the very bottom of the website where they can find our blog, testimonials, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Basic, but the services we have right up top so that you can find them and easily get to them.
Perfect.
And we welcome feedback. If for some reason someone gets to our website and can't find something, well, that means other people might have that happen to them as well. So we're always wanting to improve all things in the organization. We welcome all feedback all the time. Please let us know how we can best serve.
Fabulous. Thanks both. Indeed, I think that's part of our conversation is just to help people understand what is your philosophy and approach and make it easy for people to find you and know how to interact. So it's also good to know that you're open in case people have any issues. Um, so I think I've got a kind of good idea of what I've called the kind of patient and people touched by cancer support piece. So you've got your calls, you've got the resources, you've got coaching sessions or consultations. Can you talk to me a little bit more about the education piece? So you mentioned the coach training program. Can you just share whatever you think would be important for people that are just hearing about this for the first time in terms of what it is, what you aim to achieve with it?
Absolutely. I know I've been chatting a lot, so I'll pass over to Carl if you'd like to, or I'll keep going.
No, really, I was thinking since that's your area that you'd want to talk about that.
Okay,
Yeah,
sure. I'll keep going.
I'll let Zach go and fill in any blanks that might be missing.
Awesome.
But
So the Holistic Cancer Coach Certification Program is designed to be in service to any individual that's interested in the subject matter. So whether someone is a patient themselves of past or present and just wants to empower themselves with the information, a lot of people go that route. Whether they're a caregiver of an individual, past or present, like, maybe your wife or your daughter or just your friend or someone had cancer or has cancer and you want to be able to support them, it's designed for that. Whether someone is, a mainstream medical professional, understanding that they have massive gaps in their knowledge of nutrition and the body in a more in-depth and holistic way, it's designed for that. whether someone has an existing health practice. And if anyone has an existing health practice where they talk to their clients or patients, chances are you're seeing more patients that have cancer than ever. And you want to know what's going on and how you can best support them. It's designed for that. If you want to make a career as a holistic cancer coach, or you're already some sort of health coach and want to add an additional certification, there you go. If people come on and get hired by other organizations, um, people come on and want to form their own cancer-related nonprofit. I mean, there's so many different things you could do, whether you want to make a business or not, or just have knowledge. It's designed for all of these individuals, no matter where their baseline level of holistic health and healing is. That's a big task, I know, but that's what we're designed for. We take all these people, and the core of the education system is lecture from our founder, Susan Silverstein, based on her decades of experience, not only researching, and she researched, but in her experience actually working with people. She, of course, then confirmed or altered the knowledge that she gained during the research. And that was her gig when she started this organization. She was in the field, speaking with people, and just amalgamating this base of knowledge. And the course is her legacy, in the sense that it's her giving her lecture that she would perform live. You used to have to go live for a weekend and hear from her, but Carl captured that virtually and has now preserved it in time, and allows anyone anywhere in the world at any time to learn from Susan, where you would have to catch her in person previously. So it's an online video course format, followed by quizzes, supplementary downloads, and links, and manuals, and all sorts of information. Um, Designed to take someone, introduce a subject matter, dive deep into the subject matter, and most importantly, guide them and teach them how to take that information and apply it to working with other people. Because one thing to know something, it's another to have that information and guide someone else through implementing it. And if that piece isn't there, then all the information in the world actually doesn't mean much of anything. So part of the curriculum itself is on the implementation side. And when you have access to the education system, you also have access to the community of coaches and other students. And that's where a lot of the magic happens as well, because these are the people that are in the field doing the things already. So we have a group chat on Telegram that's exclusively for our coaches and students. And that's a completely open-ended thing, whether it's, hey, what do you guys think of this article? Or, hey, I'm dealing with this client and they have this going on. Has anyone ever faced that? Or whether it's, hey, I don't know how to make a website. Anyone have any tools? Whatever it is. Or, hey, I just, had this big success today and we all celebrate. Or, hey, I'm facing this challenge and we all overcome it. The community aspect is one of them. I mean, it's half the magic, because just like a lot of patients are alone out there and feeling alone and isolated in their experience, a lot of caregivers and caregiving professionals can feel that way as well. And burnout is huge and it's real, and there's no reason to be alone. So the community group chat is great. We also meet at different frequencies for private calls. Sometimes we do weekly whenever more people are available. Sometimes we do monthly, etc. For private calls for our coaches and students only. And again, all those kind of things that I talked about, we do them. Carl and I do communication and business trainings sometimes. We'll have special guests that we think can present on a topic that would help our coaches be better coaches. Our mission is not actualized if we train a coach and they're not able to achieve their dream of how they want to help people with that information. So no matter what that is and how that is, we want to see our coaches get there, because the end users getting the help, that's the mission. So we don't just want to train coaches, we want to see our coaches succeed. So that's a bit about the program. I'll toss it over to Carl.
Yeah, it's a very, very important point that Zach was making about helping our coaches succeed. The coaches enable us to propel our mission with a much broader net, right? So there's only so many people we can service at the center with the resources that we have. So what we did was we made 500 mini Susans, right? 500 counselors, and that just multiplies greatly, exponentially our impact uh, in our service without having to exponentially increase the financial footprint of having office space and insurance and all that stuff that goes along with it. So the coaches really help us fulfill our mission. And number two, I think it's very important to say that most coaching certifications or courses that you buy, especially the ones that are online, you pretty much pay for it, and then that's what you get. And you take the course, and then you do with it what you will, and there's not a whole lot of interaction afterwards. The taking the course or buying the course, uh, which helps us do our mission. That's where we get a lot of our money to make sure that we're taking care of patients. Uh, that's just the beginning. That's only just like a launch pad. The community that Zach was referencing is tremendous and very, very vibrant and active. We also help market our coaches. We do so much after the fact and continue to do years and years and years after the fact. We have coaches that are still working with us intimately 10, 12 years later. We're still working with them. They can write articles that can go onto our website since our website has a lot of authority and traction. It gets them to be known. We slice up all the videos that we do on Thursday night calls and make shorts out of them. And the shorts on Facebook get up to 1 million to 3 million views, some of them, but routinely in the thousands. And that helps market the coach that's speaking at that moment. And we link it to their social media so that they're easily found. I mean, we do so much for our coaches after the fact to help them become successful and to propel our mission.
It's amazing, both. I really, listening to you, for me, the one key thing that makes Beat Cancer stand out is really that is your kind of constant support in so many different realms. And at the same time, the fact that it's all coming back to this mission. So basically your coaches have the support, but your coaches are then also broadening your reach to help patients at the same time. So it's just a very, very kind of healthy network that you've got there for so many people, which is it's not that usual to see something that's got the vision on such a big scale. So really hats off to you for all the work that you're doing.
And it's only getting better from here.
Yeah.
That's the direction. Well, on a topic that is very difficult for a lot of people, I think you managed to have a very good and positive energy about it, which really helps people to heal, to find their healthy behaviors to prevent things. I think that what you're facilitating within the community is crucial. And as a whole, I mean, I guess, could probably talk about everything you're doing for hours, but just for the audience, what I'm trying to do is make sure that it's clear everything that you're doing and how people can reach out to you, which will be included in the video notes afterwards. But is there anything we haven't touched on that you think is important just to share, or to talk a little bit more about?
Hmm.
Well, we're constantly evolving and learning. So it's not a static issue. As new science emerges, we explore that. We give it time to go through the ringer to, to see if it's actually panning out the way that they thought it would. And anything that's happening that is current and well fleshed out will be included in the course. So our course always evolves. It's evergreen at this point, and we'll be working on that with diligently with our coaches. We're looking into other things with our course to give it some more credibility and reach more medical type people. But those are some things that are going on in the future, but I'll hand it off to Zach.
Yeah, I'll also just highlight some of the other ways to be involved with Beat Cancer that aren't part of like the core programs, but are equally important and exciting and help everybody win. So, of course, we are a charity. We are a 501(c)(3) organization. We've made it easier than ever to donate in a variety of ways. But instead of donating and saying, um, you know, like we're going to produce another piece of paper, we're not doing research here. We're actually doing things. We're actually helping people. But what does that look like? Well, we've developed a new sponsor a patient program where we've calculated the average operational cost to the organization to see each patient that our doctor sees. And based on that calculation, we have different levels of sponsorship, where at different donation levels, you could be like a bronze sponsor sponsoring a patient for the year. You could be a silver sponsor sponsoring, I believe it's two for the year. And not only is that exciting, and now you're a bronze sponsor, silver sponsor, gold sponsor, but we also want to give back to you, our sponsors. So we're community driven. We'll list you on our website for becoming a sponsor. We have different ways where we'll like update you on the impact that you're directly having through your donation. We're not here to just say, oh, like thanks and have a nice life. We want to have a relationship with our donors as much as they'd like to. So that's a wonderful thing to explore, and obviously it just helps us help more people because we never turn anyone away. Our counseling with our doctor is strictly on a donation basis, and people do come to us that are financially destitute. And of course, when someone is facing cancer, that's not uncommon due to increased medical bills and a decrease in capacity to work, and it can be quite devastating for a family. So we don't turn anyone away, but there's also an operational cost to the organization, and it's tough. So we have visit the ways to give tab of our website, and there's a lot to explore there. We have a whole 18-page PDF. We have a 2-page PDF summary on the sponsor patient program. Great for corporate giving, great for individuals or small businesses, and we want to give back to the community of those who support us. But there's also our affiliate program, which is wonderful. So our educational course, the Holistic Cancer Coach Certification Program, selling that is also part of how we help fund the organization. And if people help us do that, we'll gladly offer a generous affiliate percentage. And everybody wins, and we get to help more people. We get to help people have an income in that manner, and you get to help there become more coaches. Yeah, so these are some different ways like to get involved. If someone wants to be a guest on one of our calls, whether that's our public call, we could do a special feature presentation, or you could just join and talk. So just contact us ahead of time if you'd like to make a presentation to our audience, or you can be a special guest and do a presentation to our private calls that are just for our coaches and students. Because if you have something good for them, we want to make sure they're getting that information as well. So those are some like non-core ways to participate with us, but all very important as well. And that can, again, we want to create pathways that are beneficial in all directions. And yeah, I think all of those fit that.
Brilliant. Thank you. Loads of opportunities. And I will put your website at the end with these different options. That is the best place for people to look when they want to get in touch with you, correct? Just go through the website and contact us page, or is there any other
Yep,
platform?
there is a contact us page. Yeah, beatcancer.org is the primary website, of course. And if for some reason you can't find something, our email is super easy: support@beatcancer.org.
Brilliant. Thank you both. Carl, Zakariya, any last comments before I send you on your way for today?
Zach and I, we love our coaches. We love interacting with them, talking with them on Telegram, getting together on our private meetings, but we also have a lot of contacts throughout the last 50 years that we've amassed here at Beat Cancer. So whenever there's an event like Annie Appleseed Project or Beljanski or whatever, we utilize a little bit of leverage and try to get them discounts. And We encourage them to participate, and that's where we all get to meet in person, which is so much fun. And while we're there, since I know a lot of the speakers and presenters and the people putting on the conferences, I introduce the coaches to everybody. Anybody they want to meet, I'll take them up and introduce them. It's just a lot of fun. That from some of them have found employment from that. But the bigger thing I'm trying to say is what CEO or dean of a school, well, because we're an education community, opens up their Rolodex, invites you to events, and literally introduces you to people of influence. So these are the things that Beat Cancer coaches get when they come on board with us.
Super important. And you're right. I don't think you see it hardly ever. So it's really huge. And I think the support, I mean, I can't thank you both enough for all of the support that you're offering people around the world now, I suppose, because many of what things that you're doing are virtual. So people can access you regardless of where they are, which is amazing, and be a part of this incredible community.
Yeah, something just a quick fun note to that. All of our things are international, including the weekly calls, of course. And the other day, we had a comment from Facebook while we were on the call because they're also live streamed to the socials. And this guy said, "Oh, hey, like I'm in Nigeria. I have this going on. I'm looking for this kind of thing. Does anyone know where I can find that?" And me, I took the comment and I said, "Oh, like, I'm not, I don't know. I'm not sure if like we'll have someone for that." And we did.
Holy
We
cow.
had someone on the call that just was another community member, and they said, "Yes, I do know where to get that in Nigeria." And so we were able to address that. And it's just wow. Like I get surprised at the power of the community. It was cool. Just to speak to the international element.
It is cool. It is cool. It is a little bit magic. And I suppose anyone who's done anything successful in the world would say you never do it alone. So the power of the people who have a similar mission is just makes magic happen.
We're open to collaboration. So if you have like-minded communities and you want to chit chat with us, we're open.
Fabulous. Thank you both so much. I think our time is pretty much up, but I'm sure our audience is going to be thrilled to hear about this and have a wonderful evening.